Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another Arknights Endfield video. This is going to be a little bit different than normal compared to most other videos for specifically Arknights Endfield, especially for Agony clears. I just wanted to preface certain things before we get started. First of all, as you probably can already see with the gameplay, a lot of my attempts after a certain point, due to my frustration and just hard focus, something that I kind of noticed, but I just was kind of just used to it. But in terms of recording purposes, yeah, the camera's gonna be shaking a lot in this video. The second thing is that my complete and utter anger towards this stage, frustration to this stage, whatever you like to say when it comes to how I feel uh, after a certain point. Probably the most angry you're going to see. So I guess fair warning in a sense. But anyway, if you don't like hear me screaming, then you could just skip this video, knowing that I cleared probably one of the hardest agony mode stages for E2 yet, which is being contested with the Krill Beasts, because you would think I'd have already been the Krill Beasts. I did the same amount of hours, and while it's not directly the same strategies to complete both of them, Krill Beasts they are still yet to beat. Just because of how many enemies just send at you, I just get destroyed by wombo comboed. DMCA styled. Literally, I'm not gonna show the clip. I mean, I could. But there's just times where I'm literally just dying because I'm getting hit in the air and staying in the air because I'm top of an enemy while also getting hit. That is its own insanity, but for this stage in particular, I had to go about it differently. Of course, I'll explain it more after the fact, but I just wanted to at least kind of say a few things before you get into it, before you start hearing some colorful language and the most insane looking gameplay you probably will ever see for Enfield. Anyway, I'll let you guys enjoy. I literally can't do shit! Shit! I think I have a way to go about it. It just comes down to how much I'm willing to risk possibly getting another one of those purples and then hoping I can handle the rest without them spreading around like nincompoops. The biggest issue is like spacing and trying to get them where I want to get them. Focus in the fucking middle! Fucking God! And this is what I'm talking about. I need to focus on it. Are you fucking serious? Guys are dog shit!
You deserve the slammer! Surrender now!
That should not have happened, by the way. Because you would think that the AI would be like, oh, maybe we target that one because we targeted the other ones. I'm pretty much just screwed any fucking way because of how the spawns work. It's the only set of spawns in this fucking entire stage where when you're on the last enemy, it instantly spawns in the next wave. And that really just fucks me over. And that's what this is, by the way, a good showcase of the targeting in this game being dog water. And I'm looking at the enemy to the side, but the character really is trying, he's gravitating, there we go, towards the other enemy. That was a weird way, but it works. There might be some ways I can handle this, but like, it's a very big... The fact that they get stagger immune after a certain point. Not that way, Rossi. And yes, I am aware that I don't even know if it's going to be in the video if this becomes clear. I know that they're changing the AI in terms of like how it prioritizes targeting as an option. I need to spam that skill. In this instance, we just need to take down one. I got it. Stop! Stop!
You deserve.
I got it.
Slammer! Ah!
Except I don't think I got it. Because I have a minute. I got it! Okay. I was a bit worried there, but I do have it. Yeah, you deserve that. Me too, you can drink all. It's what you want. I did not want to retry. Fuck off. I don't want to retry. Get the fuck out of there. Hopefully it actually counted. I would actually be fucking annoyed if it didn't. Because it's some weird, obscure glitch that no one knows about. Which, by the way, that's not the case. But I hope. Thank God. Ugh, somehow Tidal Grief, while being really fucking insane, is on the same level as a spamming of enemies. But somehow this is worse. So, okay. okay. I'm gonna go over what the fuck happened that I can eventually say I did it at E2. You think this is easy? Try it. E2, no E3, no E4, which means no gold gear, nothing above level 90, no fancy smancy extra stats. Try it for yourself. You're gonna be having a hard time trying to figure it out. Because there's not much you can do. I mean, especially now because I lost a lot of operators you can use. But, anyway. Aside from me explaining how stupidly insane this is, the team setup. I'll kind of go into this so this team can go on.
Not bad.
I was not expecting to be using Jahi at the very end of the day to complete this stage. Now, granted, I assumed, it's been a hot minute, of course, since I first did this, but it makes sense that maybe Ember or Snowshine would be helpful. No. Even if you take damage, it's not taking damage from an enemy, so their skills don't count. Fucking stupid, but it is the way it is. Which means those two are not usable. You might be wondering why the fuck Ember is still there. It's because of her ultimate. Because ultimate and shields, her ultimate creates a shield for your entire team, that reduces the damage you take. Essentially, creating a scenario where I could maybe etch out a Rin. Just maybe barely living. Or at least Mifu still alive. Which is kind of the key of this clear. Is I know I'm going to leak enemies into the thing. And I will be taking damage. The biggest issue is trying to figure out how much I need to live. And while the shield helps with Ember, I realized that there's only one other character I can use that can actually heal. And that's Shahi. that's why you saw in between certain waves after leaks, I'm pretty much just focusing on healing, because technically, yes, we're timed, but the irony is that because of how this stage is, you're more likely than not either going to live or die before the 10 minutes. Most likely you'd be dead by 7 minutes if you only took out the blue enemies. Actually, no, that's a lie. You'd be dead in like the first 2 minutes. If you can manage to take out a few of the upgraded versions, the very likely at the bare minimum, you would still have about a minute or 2 left to take out anything else when everything else has already spawned in, just due to the nature of how the level is and if he's moving, unless you just don't do enough damage in the very first wave, you're just pretty much just stalling the enemies for whatever reason. In theory, long term, we could, if you could get enough healing, you theoretically could just straight up face tank all the enemies into the circle. Which I'll get into we'll get into that point. But you kind of get the general gist. Ember is the shield at the very end. That's it. I could bring another physical, but I know I don't have enough DPS to deal with, at the very end, multiple of, like, 3 sets of them going through. The only reason Ember's there is just to survive at the end. And Jahi is to heal. Rossi and move through all the DPS. I know I can at least kill a few of the purple. Some of those runs were scuffed as fuck due to targeting and the fact of not doing enough damage or whatever. I had times where some of my operators pushed enemies into the circle, taking damage, and it's like, trying not to freak the fuck out and still freaking the fuck out. Anyway, the main takeaway is that you need healing if you don't have enough DPS. There's only one character in this game until a certain other 6 that's coming around the corner that can focus on healing your operators. When the enemy gets to the circle, you pretty much does about 1/3 of the HP. So it takes 3 of them for it to lose. Or, in this case, keeping, let's say, Mifu alive just long enough that I can just solo 4 enemies. And that is where the last ending is so fucking ridiculous. And that last wave, getting everything correct, getting the shield up, making sure I can continuously use Jahi's skill at the very end as well, while Brasi, Rimber, and Jahi is still alive, so that I can at least maybe get Mifu. Maybe I could have done another operator alive if I did better switching, but I was just focusing, like, I know with Mifu I could probably get through it, especially with, I know, that slight push effect towards that ended up clutching at the end there. I was trying to do that, but keep failing because it's just such tight timing of trying to keep all of those blue in bay. And yeah, it's just, obviously at the end there, Mifu just had enough DPS to slowly kill the last 4 enemies with a little bit of crowd control and just focusing on doing as much damage as I can. And I didn't know if I was going to do it or not, just because it's like, I'm trying my best, trying to keep them, trying to get them in a circle, bunched up. That is fucking insane to do, on top of the fact that Mifu pulls in, not pushes. Pushes would have been way better in this instance. There really is an operator at this point that I think pushes. You have, of course, Gilberta, which, you know, funnels in enemies around that circle, and then Mifu is pulling in. And technically, you kind of have the same effect as Gilberta with Arcane. Would Arcane and Gilberta at E2 work? No. There's a part of me that doesn't think so, due in part of just, it would be harder to, I think, target who I need to target to push, because their range. I think with Mifu and then the fact of being physical, you're going to be quicker in a lot of cases unless you're up front. And I think Mifu has a faster starting attack animation to an extent. And of course, the fact that I was able to spam the crowd control aspect of Mifu and do damage. Well, I wouldn't have been able to do that for Arcane. I wouldn't have been able to do that with Cabrota. I honestly believe Mifu is probably the best choice, ironically, for low power, low elite, low rare. I want to say rarity, but that's not correct. So I'm using 6 stars and 5 stars here. But pretty much with low E2, low damage. The fact that you can do some crowd control still, even at the very end there, as a niche. I shit on Mifu a lot, because S1, I mean, her skill is first of the 3 skills. The crowd control aspect is the worst in this game. But in that very niche scenario, when I was able to just corral the enemies together and just continuously do damage to each other, eventually killing far away from the center, prove fruitful. Even if it's not the best, the niche still helped me out. I'm saying this right now, some CC in the future, her skill, her first skill pulling enemies to her, is going to be useful. Okay? I have that feeling. Anyway, I don't have really much else to know. I guess I might as well showcase Shahi, because most of these operators, weapons, and items haven't changed. And for the most part, if you've seen any clears or any thumbnails from my CC runs, just know there isn't really anything changed at all. The only difference here is Shahi, so I kind of just showcase this real quickly. For those that are curious, E1. Boom, there's the proof inputting. Actually, I can grab the talent notes. I did not even have the talent notes. I'll grab that when I can, when I remember.
The hour of bloodshed is upon us.
Of
the
course.
Battlefield shows no mercy
And then, of
for
course,
mistakes.
at the very end, Jahi, the best weapon I have for her. This is all I have for the Essence level 60. Her kit, mostly the will kit, because that's kind of how she works. And that's literally like the best that I got. And I wish in the future that they add in more purple gear, 4-star gear, because that would greatly help me out. I don't think they will, because that makes no fucking sense to. But honestly, they should. They really should expand on the 4-star armors. Personally, not just because of me doing E2, but I think there's at least some merits to it, especially for early game, / maybe mid game. But yeah, every single character is E2. I feel like this is on par of CC risk 25 plus.
We're Battleforge teammates.
Honestly,
right?
I would say this is like above 35 in terms of E2. If you're considering maxing out characters overall with the first CC, it might be closer to risk 50 in terms of difficulty of what I just did. Give or take. Given how much I had to do very specific stuff with a very specific team in mind, to do very specific timings on certain areas of the map, just to make sure that at the very end I can clutch it up with at least someone surviving, in this case Mifu, and finally beating the map. That, however, cannot be said about that, however, cannot be said for the Krill Beasts. I'm gonna end it off here for this video, but let's just say, out of all of the stages in Turbidity Manifest, this is probably the worst stage. Just because there's so much enemies attacking you at once. It's kind of a little spoilerly, I guess. It's not really. But pretty much, I usually just get comboed to death. And I tried so many scenes so far. We'll see how I eventually complete this. I think this is doable. 100%. It's just gonna take a long time to eventually get it and find a team that will work for this. I've done a lot already, and some teams just don't work. And it's just like back and forth. I don't know how the whole summoning works specifically. I wish I knew a bit more details. Like, is it just specific? Okay, I say that. I'm just looking at it right now on a regular basis, so it doesn't really matter. Because it wasn't like the normal time. No. Okay, never mind then. Okay, never mind. I will get it. I will get it. But aside from that, looking ahead, aside from that, spoilers, I guess. I mean, this video will probably be out after these videos, but honestly, I think maybe the Pyromancer would probably be the most difficult on this one. We'll see. We will see about the Deathly Silences. I have my own theories on what would be the most difficult, but I'm gonna shut up here. Have a nice day, and I'll see you guys all later. Peace.